Admiral Taejo stood on the command deck of the Council's largest starship, the Grand Observer. The massive view screen showed a small blue-green planet, third from its yellow star. Taejo's four-fingered hand brushed across his scaled chin as he studied the readings. "Is this really worth our time?" he asked, his voice carrying the natural clicks of his species. Science Officer Juan moved closer, her slender form gliding across the polished floor. Unlike the Admiral's reptilian features, Juwan's pale blue skin and large eyes marked her as Novan. "The inhabitants call themselves humans," she said. "They've only achieved basic space travel. Their technology is primitive by our standards." Taejo nodded. "The Council has claimed thousands of such worlds." "There is something unusual about them," Juwan added, bringing up more data. "Their technological growth rate exceeds normal patterns. They went from simple flight to orbital vehicles in less than 1 century. Security Director Hyun joined them, his heavy boots announcing his arrival. The bulky officer's dark armor contrasted with the ship's white walls. "I've reviewed the initial threat assessment," Hyun reported. "Nothing concerning. They fight among themselves constantly, but their weapons are basic." "Anything else noteworthy?" Taejo asked. Hyun pulled up more images. "They've survived several near-extinction events. Ice ages, massive volcanic eruptions, large asteroid impacts. Each time, they've endured." "Interesting, but not relevant to our mission," Taejo said. "The Council wants this sector secured quickly." In his private quarters later, Taejo noticed an unread report. It came from Captain Doyeon, who had led the first scout mission to Earth 3 months ago. Taejo opened the file but only skimmed the long document. His eyes caught one line: "Exercise extreme caution. These humans are unlike any species we've encountered." Taejo closed the report. He had seen enough primitive worlds to know they all followed the same pattern. Show strength, offer protection, gain control. Simple. The next day, the Grand Council chamber buzzed with activity. Representatives from 67 species sat in the curved hall. High Counselor Minho, with his distinctive gold-flecked skin and towering height, called the meeting to order. "We have discovered a new inhabited world in the outer spiral arm," Minho announced. "Admiral Taejo, your assessment." Taejo stood. "The planet Earth contains a Level 3 civilization. Pre-FTL, limited space travel, still using fossil fuels. They showed no signs of unified planetary government." "Any unusual features?" asked a council member. "Nothing significant," Taejo replied, ignoring Doyeon's warning. "Standard containment protocols will be sufficient." From the corner of his eye, Taejo noticed Captain Doyeon enter the chamber quietly, taking the seat in the back row. The scout captain looked tired, as if he hadn't slept since returning from Earth. High Counselor Minho nodded. "Then we shall proceed with standard first contact, followed by integration. I propose a simple containment operation." Commander Suna, a veteran of 17 first contact missions, raised her hand slightly. "If I may, Counselor, the preliminary reports suggest unusual adaptability in this species. Perhaps we should." "The reports show nothing that warrants special consideration," Minho interrupted. "The Council has integrated hundreds of Level 3 civilizations without incident." Suna's mouth opened slightly, then closed. Her dark eyes showed concern, but she remained silent. "Let us vote," Minho continued. "All in favor of standard containment and integration procedures for Earth." Lights blinked green across the chamber as members voted. The decision was unanimous. As the meeting ended, Taejo noticed Doyeon approaching Commander Suna. They spoke in low voices, both looking troubled. For a moment, Taejo felt a flicker of doubt. Later that day, preparations began. 5 battleships were assigned to the Earth operation. Maps were drawn showing key military and government facilities on the planet. The diplomatic team practiced human languages and customs. Captain Doyeon tried once more to speak with Taejo. "Admiral, I must insist you read my full report. These humans, They think differently. Their history is filled with examples of. Captain, Taejo interrupted, I appreciate your dedication, but the Council has decided. This will be a standard operation. Do-hyun's expression hardened. They will not surrender easily. No species does at first, Taejo replied. But they all accept Council protection eventually. As Do-hyun left, Taejo dismissed his concerns. After all, what could one primitive planet do against the might of the Galactic Council? The fleet prepared to depart, unaware they were ignoring all the warning signs. The United Nations building gleamed in the morning sunlight. Flags from every nation fluttered in the gentle breeze. Inside the Grand Hall, hundreds of people waited with excitement and nervousness. Today was the day that would change human history forever. UN Secretary General Kim adjusted his tie one last time. 6 months ago, the giant alien ships had appeared in Earth's sky. People had panicked at first, but the aliens called themselves the Galactic Council and said they came in peace. Now, after months of talks, Earth was ready to join this community of advanced alien civilizations. They're here, whispered an aide. The doors opened. Ambassador Jun walked in with 4 other aliens. Unlike the others with their scaled skin or extra limbs, Jun looked almost human. The Council had chosen him specifically for this reason, to make humans feel comfortable. Secretary General Kim stepped forward with a warm smile. Welcome, friends. Cameras flashed. This moment would be in history books forever. Today marks a historic partnership, Kim announced to the delegates from Earth's nations who had gathered for the treaty signing. Leaders from America, China, Russia, and dozens of other countries watched with hopeful eyes. Today, humanity takes its first step into a larger universe. The crowd applauded. Children in the balcony waved small Earth and Council flags. Ambassador Jun smiled with perfect diplomacy. His dark eyes revealed nothing of what was to come. The Council welcomes Earth into the galactic community. This treaty of friendship will benefit all our peoples. A golden pen was brought forward on a red cushion. The treaty, 50 pages of promises about technology sharing, cultural exchange, and mutual defense, lay ready for signatures. High above Earth, Admiral Taejo stood on his ship's bridge. 6 warships surrounded the planet, hidden by advanced cloaking technology. For 6 months, they had watched and planned while Jun kept the humans distracted with empty promises. Are all ships in position? Taejo asked. Yes, Admiral, replied his first officer. Targeting systems locked on all major human military installations. Taejo nodded. The humans had been easier to fool than expected. Their eagerness for new technology had made them blind to the Council's true intentions. Earth had resources the Council wanted, and it was simpler to take a planet than to trade fairly for what they needed. Commence Operation Containment, Taejo ordered calmly. Back in the UN hall, Secretary General Kim and Ambassador Jun clasped hands for the cameras. The crowd cheered. Then Kim's phone buzzed. So did the phones of every military leader in the room. Kim's smile faded as he read the message. At that exact moment, Council missiles struck military bases across Earth. Pentagon, Moscow, Beijing, Delhi, all hit simultaneously. Jun's friendly mask vanished. He stepped back as chaos erupted in the hall. What is happening? Kim demanded, his face pale. The Council has decided Earth will serve better as a resource colony than as a member, Jun said coldly. Do not resist. It will only bring more suffering. Security guards rushed forward, but Jun's bodyguards activated energy shields. The bullets bounced off harmlessly. Around the world, communications went dark. Defense systems faltered against technology they had never encountered. Planes fell from the sky as their electronics failed. Power grids collapsed. On his ship, Admiral Taejo watched the operation unfold. Everything was proceeding as planned. Expected resistance time, he asked. Security Director Hyun checked his data. 6 hours. Admiral, their most advanced weapons are useless against our shields. Once their military leadership is eliminated, the population will surrender. Taijo nodded, satisfied. Begin landing troops in 1 hour. Target government centers next. But something unexpected happened. When council ships attempted to land in Washington, D.C., they met fierce resistance, not just from military forces, but from civilian police and armed citizens. Similar reports came from other cities. 6 hours passed, then 8, then 10. Taijo frowned at the updates. Humans were adapting faster than any species they had encountered before. In Australia, they had already captured a downed council fighter and were studying its technology. "Sir," a communications officer called out, panic in her voice. "Battle Group 3 is under attack." "Impossible," Taijo said, rushing to the screen. Somehow, humans had discovered the frequency of council shields. They had modified their primitive nuclear missiles with this knowledge. 3 council ships, each with crews of thousands, had been destroyed. 12 hours after the attack began, Taijo stared in disbelief at the casualty reports. The operation that should have been complete by now was turning into a disaster. "How did they adapt so quickly?" he whispered. "It's impossible." A message from Captain Doyun appeared on his screen. "I warned you. Humans don't surrender. They fight harder when cornered. And they learn from their enemies very, very quickly." Taijo realized too late that ignoring the signs had been a terrible mistake. The easy victory he had promised the council would not come. The real war was just beginning. Dr. Yuno wiped sweat from her forehead as she worked. The underground laboratory was hot and cramped, hidden beneath the ruins of what had once been Seoul National University. 3 months ago, she had been a professor teaching quantum physics. Now she was a key member of the human resistance. The captured alien ship sat in the center of the lab. It was small, just a scout vessel, but it contained technology beyond human understanding, or so the aliens had thought. "Hand me that tool," Yuna said to her assistant. She pointed to a device they had created by combining a human laser cutter with alien power cells. General Chuno entered the lab. His uniform was dirty and torn, but the stars on his collar still shone. Once the commander of South Korea's armed forces, he now led the Asian Resistance Network. "Tell me you have good news," he said. Dark circles under his eyes showed he hadn't slept in days. Yuna smiled for the first time in weeks. "I do." She pointed to the alien ship's engine. "Look at this." She activated a scanner they had built. The display showed energy patterns flowing through the ship. Their energy conversion system relies on quantum resonance, she explained to General Chuno. "It's efficient but has a fatal vulnerability." Chunho leaned closer. "Explain it simply, Doctor. I was a soldier, not a scientist." "Their shields and weapons use the same energy frequency," Yuna said. "If we broadcast a counter frequency, we can disrupt both at once. Their ships would be defenseless." Chunho's tired eyes widened. "You're sure?" "I've tested it on their smaller devices. It works." She held up a small alien gun. "Watch." She pressed a button on her device, and the alien weapon's lights went dark. "How soon can you build something big enough to affect their ships?" Chunho asked. 2 weeks. Maybe less with more help." Junho nodded. "You'll get whatever you need." Across the planet, similar breakthroughs were happening. In the ruins of Chicago, engineers had reverse-engineered alien communication devices. In underground bunkers in Russia, scientists studied captured alien armor. In hidden bases in the Amazon rainforest, former tech company employees built new networks. The aliens didn't understand that humans had spent their entire history fighting each other. They knew warfare better than any peaceful pursuit. And now, all that knowledge was focused on a single enemy. Resistance cells communicated using technology developed from council components. Messages bounced between hidden transmitters, impossible for the aliens to track. Meanwhile, on the council's command ship, a secret meeting was taking place. Ambassador Seok, who had originally opposed the attack on Earth, had called the meeting. 3 months. Siok said to the gathered council members. 3 months, and we've lost 27 ships. This was supposed to be a simple operation. High Counselor Minho waved his hand dismissively. Temporary setbacks. The humans are still primitive. Siok displayed images of destroyed council ships. These primitives are adapting to our technology faster than any species we've encountered. They're learning to jam our communications, bypass our sensors, and even copy our weapons. Impossible, another council member said. Their technology was centuries behind ours. Siok emphasized. We must withdraw. These humans, they're not following predictable patterns. This is not like our other conquests. Nonsense, countered Minho, his voice rising. No primitive species can withstand council might. We just need to increase our forces. And lose more ships. More soldiers? Siok asked. Their resistance grows stronger each day. Minho's eyes narrowed. Are you questioning council authority, Ambassador? Siok fell silent, knowing the dangerous ground he tread. Unknown to both, Captain Do-Yun had been listening. The scout captain who had first warned about humans had grown increasingly troubled by the council's actions. That night, he made a decision that would change the course of the war. Using a small ship, Do-Yun slipped away from the fleet. His knowledge of council patrol patterns helped him reach Earth undetected. Using an emergency beacon from his original mission, he broadcast a signal that only humans who had studied council technology would recognize. General Chunho was suspicious when his team captured the alien captain. They met in a secure room, weapons pointed at Do-Yun. Why should we trust you? Chunho asked. Because I warned them about you, Do-Yun replied. I told them humans were different. I told them this attack was a mistake. He placed a data device on the table between them. This contains council fleet positions, communication codes, and shield frequencies. Why are you helping us? Yuna asked from the corner. Not all of us support this war, Do-Yun told Chunho. Some of us recognize the signs they ignored. Some of us believe the council has lost its way. Chunho studied the alien's face, looking for deception. If this is a trick. It's not, Do-Yun said. The council thought this would be easy because they'd grown arrogant. They'd forgotten what it means to face a truly determined enemy. Chunho picked up the data device. Then help us show them. For the first time since the invasion began, hope spread through the human resistance. The tide was about to turn. The darkness of space surrounded the small human shuttle as it approached the massive council command carrier. The carrier was 20 times larger than Earth's biggest aircraft carrier, with weapons that could destroy entire cities. Yet Commander Minji felt no fear as she checked her gear one final time. Remember, we move fast and quiet, she told her team of 5. Each member had been chosen for their special skills. Hana, the tech expert. Taemin, the weapons specialist. Daewon, the medic. Sung-hoon and Yuna, both former special forces. All wore armor made from stolen council technology, modified by Dr. Yuna. Their weapons were also hybrid designs, human guns that fired alien energy pulses. Captain Do-Yun's voice came through their comms. You'll have 3 minutes before their sensors detect you. The former council captain had provided invaluable intelligence. He had shown them how to approach undetected through the carrier's blind spot, a minor design flaw that the arrogant council engineers had never fixed. Approaching docking point, Minji said as she guided the shuttle. Everyone ready. The team nodded silently. The shuttle attached to the carrier's hull. Daewon used a cutting tool to create an entrance. One by one, they slipped inside. The first 2 alien guards never saw the humans coming. Taemin used a stun weapon, and they dropped without a sound. Minji checked her map, a holographic display on her wrist showing the carrier's layout, courtesy of Do-Yun. Bridge is 3 levels up, she whispered. We have 14 minutes before shift change. The team moved like shadows through the massive ship. Years of fighting against the alien invaders had taught humans how to move silently, how to strike quickly. 3 more guards fell before they reached the main corridor. But there, they encountered a problem. 20 alien crew members blocked their path. Distraction, Hannah suggested. Minji nodded. Hannah tossed a small device down a side corridor. It created a series of explosions and alarms. The aliens rushed toward the noise, leaving the path clear. Move, Minji ordered. They reached the bridge access with 8 minutes to spare. Outside the door stood 4 elite guards with heavy armor. Sunghoon, Yuna, Minji whispered. The 2 former Special Forces soldiers moved with incredible speed. Before the guards could react, Sunghoon had disabled 2 with precise strikes to weak points in their armor, points Do-Yun had identified. Yuna took down the other 2 with her energy staff. Bridge door locked, Hannah said, examining the control panel. Security protocol in effect. How long to bypass? Minji asked. 3 minutes. Too long. Taemin, the weapons specialist, grinned and placed a small device on the door. Everyone back. The device emitted a high-pitched whine. Then the door simply fell apart. The molecular bonds between its atoms temporarily disrupted. The bridge crew turned in shock as 6 humans charged in. Unlike the slow, methodical Council combat doctrine, the humans moved with unpredictable patterns, striking from multiple angles simultaneously. 17 minutes after boarding the carrier, Minji stood on the bridge surrounded by unconscious aliens. Not a single shot had been fired. Not a single human was injured. Bridge secured, she reported through the special communication device Yuna had created. The quantum-entangled communicator couldn't be detected or blocked by Council technology. On Earth, General Chuno received the message with satisfaction. He stood in what had once been a sports stadium, now converted into the launch center for humanity's counterattack. Around him sat 30 ships of a design never before seen in the galaxy, a perfect blend of human creativity and alien technology. Dr. Yunha approached him, her face showing both pride and concern. The fleet is ready, General. For 6 months, they had worked in secret, building these ships in hidden locations around the planet. The Council believed humans were still fighting a defensive war on the ground. They had no idea what was coming. You've done incredible work, Doctor, Chunho said. Yunha nodded. The quantum resonance disruptors are installed on all ships. Council shields will be useless against them. The ships were smaller than Council vessels, but faster and more maneuverable. Where Council ships relied on overwhelming firepower, these human ships used speed and stealth. Where Council doctrine called for direct attacks, humans would strike from unexpected angles. Chunho took a deep breath and activated the command channel. All units, commence Operation Reckoning. Across Earth, similar launch centers activated. The hybrid fleet rose into the sky, invisible to Council sensors thanks to Yunha's cloaking technology. But Earth wasn't the only battleground. Using the data from Do-Yun and other Council defectors who had joined the human cause, strike teams had been positioned throughout Council space. Teams of humans and allied aliens waited on 7 different worlds, ready to strike. At Chunho's signal, they all attacked simultaneously. Council military bases, Council shipyards, Council communication hubs, all hit at once with precision and fury. In the Grand Council chambers, High Councilor Minho was in the middle of a speech about the inevitable victory when the alerts began flooding in. Council base in the Proxima system under attack. Shipyard at Toth City destroyed. Communication hub in the Epsilon sector compromised. Panic spread through the chamber. Council members who had never known fear now felt it acutely. How is this possible? Minho demanded, his usual calm shattered. How are they in 3 sectors simultaneously? They're confined to their planet. Admiral Taijo, once so confident, stood speechless. He had no answer. The warning signs had been there all along, but they had ignored them. Now they faced the consequence of that mistake, the full fury of humanity unleashed. The Grand Council chamber looked different now. 6 months of war had left its mark on the once perfect hall. Cracks showed in the massive pillars. Dust covered the golden emblems. Several seats stood empty, representing council members who had died in the fighting. High Counselor Minho walked slowly to the center of the room. His golden skin had lost its luster. His tall frame seemed bent by the weight of defeat. He faced the human delegation with eyes that had not slept in days. General Chunho led the human group. Beside him stood Dr. Yumna, Commander Minji, and the newly elected President Sunwoo. Captain Doyun and several other council defectors stood with them, symbols of the alliance that had turned the tide of war. "The council has reviewed your terms," Minho said. His voice, once commanding, now sounded hollow. "We find them acceptable." The words clearly pained him. The mighty Galactic Council had never before surrendered to anyone, let alone a species they had classified as primitive just 1 year ago. "The Council accepts your terms," Minho finally said, making it official. General Chunho nodded solemnly. "The blockade of Earth will end immediately. All Council forces will withdraw from human space, and the Council Charter will be rewritten with our participation." Minho handed over a crystal data key, the symbol of Council authority. "It is done." As the humans turned to leave, Admiral Tejo approached them. The once proud military leader looked tired but determined. "I was wrong about your species," he said simply. "I ignored the warning signs. That mistake cost many lives, both yours and ours." Yuma studied him. "Why did you attack us? We would have gladly joined your council peacefully." "Arrogance," Tejo admitted. "For 10,000 years, the council has expanded without meaningful resistance. We forgot what it meant to face a true challenge." The next year brought enormous changes across the galaxy. The council still existed, but its power was now balanced by a new human-led alliance of species. Many races that had been dominated by council rule found freedom under human protection. In the newly built Galactic Assembly on neutral ground, representatives from all species gathered. The circular chamber had no high seats or special positions. All members sat as equals. President Sunwoo stood to address them. The former diplomat had been chosen to lead Earth through this transition. Her calm voice carried throughout the chamber. "1 year ago, we did not know we were part of a larger galactic community," she said. "We learned of our place in the stars through violence and betrayal. But today, we stand here not seeking revenge or dominance. We seek partnership, but never at the cost of our freedom." The assembly applauded, especially representatives from worlds that had suffered under council rule. "The old council believed in control through power," Sunwoo continued. "We believe in cooperation through respect. All species have gifts to share. All voices deserve to be heard." Behind her, Earth's new ships could be seen through the crystal windows. They patrolled alongside vessels from a dozen allied worlds, former council members who had chosen to join the human alliance. The council archives were open for all to study. Scientists from many worlds examined the records, learning the truth about each species' history. They discovered something remarkable about humans. They were unique among known species. Their evolutionary path as adaptable predators with complex social structures had created a species that could not be understood through standard council metrics. Humans evolved not just to survive, but to adapt to almost any challenge. A Novan scientist explained in a popular broadcast. Where other species specialized, humans remained flexible. Where others developed specific strengths, humans developed the ability to learn quickly and work together against threats. Dr. Yuna, now Ambassador Yuna, traveled between worlds, negotiating treaties with previously subjugated species. Her knowledge of both science and diplomacy made her ideal for this role. "The council ignored the signs of who we are," she often said in her speeches. "That mistake won't be repeated. Humanity remembers its friends and its enemies." Some worried that humans would become the new tyrants, replacing council rule with their own. But President Sunwoo had established strict limits on human expansion. "We will not become what we fought against," she declared. Captain Doyun, now commanding a ship with a mixed human-alien crew, represented the new way forward. His ship explored the edges of known space, making peaceful contact with new civilizations. "We tell them the truth," he explained to a young human officer. "The galaxy is vast and filled with wonders, but it also holds dangers. We offer protection without demanding control." As human ships ventured further into the galaxy, they carried a new principle: respect must be earned, not demanded. Some council members still resented human influence, but most recognized that the old ways had failed. Admiral Taijo, who had led the attack on Earth, now worked with Juno to reform the council military. "We must learn from our mistakes," he told his officers. "The humans taught us that ignoring signs of strength is a fatal error." The stars would never be the same, and across the galaxy, a new saying spread: "Treat humans with respect, or face their fury." The end.